All right, patch 11.1.7 has a release date, and that is June 17th. We get to learn the legacy of Arathor. Now, we do get a ton in this patch, but we're going to start off with the new Arathi Highlands campaign, which, this is, I think, what a lot of us have been wanting is a little bit of Horde and Alliance tensions building up, a little bit of drama, and, who's going to be there to fix it, and that's going to be us, the champions of Azeroth. And, who's going to complain about a new place to go, some new rewards in this area, we get an Alliance tabard, a Horde tabard. I think you get to experience it on both sides. It's my only assumption is how we get those. But, the biggest part is that we get shoulder transmog pieces that is based off Faerun Lothar's own shoulders. Yes, that's the armored ones, not her bare shoulders. And, I really would like her arm shield that she uses. But either way, I'm happy with the transmog we get, the tabards that we're going to get, and a little bit more of a quest and story and campaign and all that kind of stuff we want in a new patch. Now, I do recommend before you dive in, which I will be doing myself over the next, week or so, they have a Heartlands 5-part audio story. It's on YouTube. I looked at it. The first one I looked at was 17 minutes. I was like, all right, I got to take some time to absorb this. But I recommend, and as does Blizzard, that we kind of look at that story, dive in, and see what's going on and what's been going on, things that we might not been fully involved in. And I kind of, my fingers crossed hope is that they're going to explain what's going on and why we're in Arathi and why we are fighting the Horde again when we're been partners with them since, getting to Dornogal and with Thrall and Jaina bringing the forces and those kind of things. So I'm interested in see where we are with that kind of storyline. So make sure to check that out. The next big piece on 11.1.7 is Lorewalker Cho is back to, shepherd us through 3 new storylines that are repeatable quest chains that do put you in your own category. You can't do other quests in there, which is perfectly fine. But the storylines are pretty fantastic in my opinion. First, we get our girl's Alatath. She, we get to see really what happened to her possibly in the beginning, how she got into the Black Blade of the Empire, where she currently is now, and how we have got involved with her. And, aside from the priests carrying her around and, BFA and Legion, but we get to see her story, and I'm super excited about that. The next story is the Ethereals, which are going to be a huge part in now, future expansions, and really probably all the way through this whole saga of the World Soul. So we get to see, I think, a little bit of what happened in their homeworld of Koresh, and what's probably on the road to be happening with Azeroth and how we can prevent it, and who, I would like to put them in the category of frenemy because I know a lot of them helped us through the storyline in Burning Crusade. We've met a kind of a section of them in Shadowlands. I know, the brokers, we don't want to talk about Shadowlands, but that did happen. I do like that we're roping it in a little bit, but we get to learn more about them and maybe where we're going as a character base and a player base, and why Azeroth is the sole target of maybe Dimensius. And Lorewalker Cho's last story is going to be the Lich King. Why are we, is anybody going to complain about Lich King more, Arthas and kind of his story? We've seen it in bits and pieces throughout the thing, but I think this quest line is going to take us through of a start to end, so new players can come in and get involved and see why everybody loves Arthas and him being the Lich King. And, why are we going to complain about that? More Arthas is always better, and the Lich King will always be the crown jewel of the World of Warcraft Empire, in my opinion. This next part, I don't know if I'm super excited about or not. I just want the belt that comes with it, is the overcharged delves. Now I'm going to read the list of what we got here. We got Fungal Folly, Cragval's Rest, Nightfall Sanctum, Skittering Breach, the Spiral Weave, and Side Street Sluice. They're going to be the ones that are revamped, comes with new enemies, riskier traps. We'll get a new trait tree to kind of curb the trap thing, make it more beneficial as opposed to more harmful, and kind of, go through there weekly. You'll get a quest to upgrade your belt, that disc belt that I recommend everybody get because it will be a nice power increase for everybody. Has its own little trait tree, much like it's going to be similar to the Cersei Circlet, but a little bit more better done, I think. Not so spammy, gem findy, and insocketable. So I'm all happy about that. And then, of course, you're going to get a mount if you do complete this. It's an overcharged mech suit, which we can't complain about. More mechanized robots that we get to fly around Azeroth in. big thing on user interface and new players and learning new classes and roles and specs and blah blah blah, we get the combat assistant and the single button assistant. So combat assistant will kind of guide you to where the next button you should hit. It is based off of, like, Wowhead articles, all where we read about what buttons hit next anyway. The system is based around that, and top of the line players who design these rotations that we hit so we can be successful in Mythic and Raid and open world content and those overcharged delves. Now, the single button assistant, I know that's going to be helpful for a good chunk of people. It's literally going to be one button, and it's not a Beast Mastery Hunter or a Paladin, Ret Paladin. And you just click one button, and it'll just cycle through each of your next abilities, which is really cool. I think it's going to make it a more open concept for World of Warcraft for new players, and kind of lessen the barrier for entry and kind of help everybody out. If you have some questions, turn it on, see what you're supposed to hit, memorize it, turn it off, so then you can get off the GCD, do things that you need to, interrupt, trap, all these kind of things that you can do. But definitely something I'm excited to see how people can learn, because there's some classes out there that I've actually been worried about playing because it just seems so complicated. I look at Elemental Shaman, one I've always wanted to play, but it looks so much, and I just don't want to put so much brain power to that. But definitely I'm going to check it out, and I think you should too, and bring a new friend in, and let's get more people into the world of Warcraft. Turbulent Timeways is on the way. It's a 6-week event, and yes, that starts June 18th, and it kicks off with BFA time walking. Now, this is where I've talked about BFA relentlessly. I love it. I love the dungeons. I actually think the pool of dungeons right now is really neat. But that starts off the event, and it will cap off the event at the end of the 6 weeks. So that opens up new transmogs, new weapons, new items that we can buy from the time walking vendors. You'll get that one quest you get for beating the boss of your first one, but we get a whole new rotation of BFA dungeons, and now it's live and in the pool starting on that June 18th, so be there or be square. And we're going to end this video with one last event that comes July 2nd. That is the Greedy Emissary. It returns. That is the Diablo themed, where you get some diabolical themed things. But more importantly, I want to talk about what you can get in this event now, and I recommend everybody does that, because when Tier 2 was redone during the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft, you got the revamped versions, redone versions of all your Tier 2 sets. Now, with the Greedy Emissary event, you get them recolored. And in my opinion, they're very nice. They look a little more, I think of the Hunter set, which was obnoxious purple and gold for the first version, which I got. Don't get me wrong, I needed it, I wanted it. Now, recolored looks like more dolled out, more realistic, so you feel, you don't look so fantastical, fantasy vibes running into war and going into your Mythic Plus dungeon at 13 and trying to do your best. Now you look a little bit cooler, a little more serious, so you're out there. But I'm going to have to get all that I can, at least the Judgment set and at least the Hunter set, because everybody needs the Judgment set for Tier 2. And I believe that's it. Everything for 11.1.7 Legacy of Aerothar patch that comes out on June 17th. I'm excited to see what we get here. I think, reading it and talking about it, I hope it comes out without a hitch. We have a lot of things to look forward to. I think it's reasonably paced out. We get the 6-week Turbulent event, which is a great way to level up all your characters. You will get catch-up gear if you need it anymore. My Warband bank, my bags, and my bank on my main character are full of all those items that I will go in and put on cloth, leather, mail, and plate. But definitely something to look forward to. I'm excited to see you guys there, and I'll catch you on my next video. See ya.